I'm Nicole Reed, and today what I want to talk about was a little bit about daydreams and why it's so important to pay attention to your daydreams. So if you're anything like me, you fantasize a lot about a lot of different things. You have a wild imagination, and as a little girl I would always do this. I'd be off in my imagination and in my fantasies, and often sometimes be encouraged for it, but sometimes be a little shy to, like, oh, there she goes again, like off in her whatever world, right? But what I didn't realize then was actually what I was doing was really healthy and really good for me. And I think a lot of us kind of suppress this as we get older, and sort of just put that to the side and say, okay, oh, I'm not going to daydream about that. It's not practical. I need to be an adult, or whatever these nonsense things are that we tell ourselves. And so it just kind of came to me today about how important daydreaming really is. And when I was working with a coach years and years and years ago, this coach told me the same thing, like, pay attention to your daydreams. And that has really stuck with me. And so I want to talk a little bit today about what that really means, and kind of three main things that come from doing that are really, really important. Now, I'm sure there's a ton more, but let's cover three today. So first of all, connecting with your daydreams really helps you get clarity on what you need. It helps you get clarity on what you really want. You're letting your spirit speak to you. You're letting that spirit just like come through and say, hey, this is what I'm aching for. This is what I want from life. Let's go do this. It's this way in which this higher self within you is expanding into this new reality, and it can already see stuff that the rest of you has yet to catch up with. And so it's a way to just tap into that higher self, to that heart, to that soul part of you, and that's craving this new expanded experience of life that you're not having yet. I'm not saying what you're having isn't expanded, but I'm saying whatever you're daydreaming about is like the next stage. It's like the next up-leveling of things. And so, for example, I used to constantly just daydream about being on a beach. It was like a repeating fantasy of mine. Just relaxing, drink in hand, legs crossed, on the chair, in a cabana, or under a palm tree, warm sun, rest. And what I learned from this was several things. One, I just really wanted to rest. I just really wanted a slow pace of life, just to kind of soak in the moment. I also really love the ocean. I really love sunshine and warm climate. And I just love that peace of nature and that beauty and the vibrant colors that scene provides for me. So there was a lot packed into that daydream, and it just was like kept recurring for me. And the more I started to give myself those elements in life, like now I live in a really warm climate, so my body's so much happier. Now I do have a slower pace of life. And so, like, my system has relaxed. And so it's interesting because even though I don't spend every day at the beach, I do spend some days at the beach, that desperate need for that daydream isn't as full throttle for me because I let my spirit speak to me and I paid attention. So your daydreams can be showing you some really important stuff about what you're needing that if you continue to ignore or suppress, you'll bring yourself down into lifelessness instead of using it as an opportunity to gain more life. So pay attention to the clarity that your daydreams are offering you about what you're really wanting. Another important thing about daydreaming, and not just the daydreaming, but allowing yourself to daydream, right? Because there's the actual allowing of the practice of it, is that it brings you in touch with your desires. It gives you permission to desire. Because how many times have you wanted something in life and then just talked yourself out of it? Oh no, I can't have that, or it's too late for me, I'm too old, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, these are all excuses, by the way, right? We'll actually talk about that another time, because that sounds good, to dive into that. But it's one of these things in which we're born with desire, and our desire continues to expand within us, and it's just what says, okay, now I want this, and now I want this, and now I want this, and this is good. Desire is really good, it's really healthy. It's the way that it's telling us to move forward in our life, to become more of who we are, and it's telling us what we're wanting next, and what do we want to create next in our experience on Earth. And unfortunately, many of us have learned to suppress that, to learn to suppress desire. No, it's not okay to want that. I'm asking too much, or I don't deserve it, or I've already taken my share. I can't possibly have more. Which, by the way, is totally not true. You can have as much as you want. You're not taking from anyone else. And so when you're allowing yourself to daydream, and you're allowing yourself to just kind of get into that imaginative space where you're like, oh man, that feels feels so good, like I really want this, and wouldn't it be great if, right? What you're doing is you're just allowing those emotions of joy and enthusiasm to bubble up within you and be connected to that picture that you're creating. So you're getting clarity on what it is you want, and you're allowing yourself to desire. And for some of you, if you're not used to this, it might be kind of painful, like it's too much joy, right? But you practice expanding into it and become more comfortable with that, and you can have even more and more joy in your life. So it's really important to allow yourself to desire, and daydreams are often about desire. It's often about, oh, I wish that this could happen, or what if this would happen, or I really want this to create this in my life. So pay attention to that and give yourself the permission and the time to do that. If you find yourself staring off into space, just go for it. Just absolutely go for it. Let it happen, right? And then you come back and you'll be like, oh, okay, and then you can decide what you want to do about it. You can decide what action steps you might take. Give yourself that time to really delve into that desire. So the first thing is clarity. The second thing is permission to desire and the practice of it. And then the third thing, if you know anything about manifesting, imagination is a very powerful tool in the manifestation process. So without going into it too much here, essentially thoughts become things, right? So what you think about, you actually create. This is why things like vision boards are really important, or affirmation statements, or just really focusing on what it is you want and really conjuring up that image, bringing the emotion with it, right? Because what we focus on expands. And so if your daydreams are like telling you, hey, I really, really want this, or you're finding like pieces of it, you're getting information from the daydreams, you're giving yourself the permission to desire, now you're like saying, okay, I actually really want this, I'm going to claim it. And then you put it into this more focused space where you're actually intending to bring it to life. You're saying, okay, thank you, Spirit, for speaking to me. And now I'm going to just completely delve into this world and really create it. Really think about the details, really enrich my experience and my imagination. Because as you're doing that, and as you're connecting with your feelings, you're actually preparing reality around you to rearrange itself to make it happen. And when you allow that desire to come forth, the desire is creative fuel. It's creative fuel and power to make what you want in life real. And I say real in the sense of tangible, real in front of your eyes, like touch, you can experience it, right? But it's already real in here, by the way. This is another world going on. And it's not to be discounted. And I think we really do ourselves a disservice when we teach children or other people, other adults, to stop daydreaming. Don't do that. Absolutely do that. Do it more. Daydream like crazy. What do you fantasize about? What do you want to experience in life? What lights you up? What brings your heart alive? Let yourself feel it. Let yourself think it. Let yourself live in it. Enjoy living in your head. Give yourself permission to be in that space. Because it's not your head, it's your heart, right? It feels like it's your head. I know I said head, but it's like this world that's in here. You might get pictures or sounds, some people, smell or taste, your senses get activated. Because there is a part of you that's already starting to create it and starting to shift the energy to make it come in more physical form. So you first live it in the intangible form, and you bring it in tangible form. So the third powerful thing is that it is actually part of the manifestation process. It's a manifestation tool. So daydreaming is extremely important. It's extremely fun, powerful. It gives you, so the three things, it gives you clarity on what you really want, letting your spirit speak to you. It gives you the opportunity to practice permission for desire, to really allow that to bubble up and let yourself feel it. And connecting those two things, the clarity plus the desire, right, and living in that imaginative space is a manifestation tool to actually start bringing what you really desire into reality. So that it's no longer in the space, but it's all around you and you're just living it. And then you get to daydream more for the next thing. So, I'd love to hear what you've been daydreaming about. What are some of your recurring fantasies and daydreams? Maybe, you've been feeling this way, since you were young. Maybe it's been something that's just been coming stronger more recently. Maybe this is a daydream that keeps popping up at certain times in your life. What's the pattern? What's the urge? What's wanting to come forth from you? I'd love to hear. So if you want to post this in the comments below, we can share our daydreams and kind of see, are people kind of wanting the same things or different things? Not that that really matters, but sometimes we can play off of each other's daydreams and think, oh, well, I don't really want that whole thing, but oh God, that piece of it? Yes, my heart's singing for that too. So please share your daydreams and like maybe what you learned or experienced from daydreaming and how you allow yourself to just really feel that desire and what it's done in terms of your life and bringing that into full focus and manifestation. And if this has been valuable for you, I'd love for you to share this video with other people, you know, just to share it and let other people know that it's okay to daydream. Not only is it okay, it's absolutely wonderful. It's part of the creative process for us as spiritual beings in our bodies. And if you'd like to hear more of what I have to say, please subscribe to my channel and we can talk about more cool stuff. Thanks for being here today and go daydream.